Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. As promised, I am back today with another show on a beautiful talk with Amber. And today I have for my evening a very important guest. He's that important that I have to call him separately alone. And we're going to have a lot of conversation with him, Dr. Noor Nabi. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome, sir. So the speciality of Dr. Noor Nabi is that he wears lots of hats. He's a councilman, he's a scientist, he's a freedom fighter, he's a writer, and he's the awardee of the second Portop highest award in Bangladesh, and a teacher, a loving husband, and many others. And, you know, a very respectful senior for me. And I am very obliged and thankful for you, Nobi Bhai, for joining me tonight.
Thank you. It's my pleasure too.
Oh, trust me, the pleasure is all mine. So I'm going to start. We're going to go, because today's topic is why 2020 elections are most important and significant of South Asian community. And I think because you're one of our most important and active member from the very beginning when you started the journey in this country. So let's start with your personal life. Let us know, how did you come, and, things about your life, and then we can go slowly and dig into the politics.
Thank you. And as you know, I was a freedom fighter. আমি বাংলাদেশের মুক্তিযুদ্ধে অংশগ্রহণ করেছি. This liberation war shaped my life and character. আমি যখন ছোট ছিলাম, যখন বড় হচ্ছিলাম, আমার জন্ম অজপাড়াগাঁয়ের, বাংলাদেশের টাঙ্গাইল জেলায়। যখন বড় হচ্ছিলাম, চারপাশে দেখছি আমাদের অর্থনৈতিক অবস্থা খারাপের দিকে যাচ্ছে, going down compared to West Pakistan. So naturally I have a question in my mind, why? পাকিস্তানের একটা অংশের উন্নতি হচ্ছে আর আমাদের পূর্ব বাংলা বা পূর্ব পাকিস্তানের অর্থনৈতিক অবস্থা খারাপ হচ্ছে। তো আমি যখন হাই স্কুল শেষ করে কলেজে গেলাম, ময়মনসিংহ আন্দোলন কলেজে, তখন পত্রপত্রিকা পড়ে আরো এই পূর্ব পশ্চিমের যে বৈষম্যটা, সেটা আরো প্রকটভাবে আমি দেখতে পেলাম। পূর্ব পাকিস্তানের অর্থনৈতিক অবস্থা খারাপ হচ্ছে, পশ্চিম পাকিস্তানের অর্থনৈতিক অবস্থা ভালো হচ্ছে। So there was a disparity between East and West Pakistan, not only in terms of economic development, also there is disparity in political power. পশ্চিম পাকিস্তানে পূর্ব পাকিস্তানকে শাসন করত। তো বঙ্গবন্ধু, তখন বঙ্গবন্ধু হন নাই, আওয়ামী লীগ নেতা, আওয়ামী লীগের প্রেসিডেন্ট শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান এই বৈষম্য, ডিসপ্যারিটি দূর করার জন্য হি ইন্ট্রোডিউসড 6-point চার্টার, যেটাকে উনি বলতেন 6 দফা। সেটা ছিল বাংলাদেশ বা পূর্ব পাকিস্তানের সাথে পশ্চিম পাকিস্তানের অর্থনৈতিক রাজনৈতিক বৈষম্য দূর করার জন্য স্বায়ত্ত শাসনের প্রস্তাব, অটোনমি। And that was a suggestion to solve this problem politically. পাকিস্তানি ওয়েস্ট পাকিস্তানি লিডার যারা তখন শাসন করতো, আইয়ুব খান, জেনারেল আইয়ুব খান, ইনস্টিড অফ রেসপন্ডিং টু দিস প্রপোজাল, সে শেখ মুজিবুর রহমানকে অ্যারেস্ট করে একটা মিথ্যা মামলা দেয়, আগরতলা ষড়যন্ত্র মামলা, যার এটা রাষ্ট্রদ্রোহী মামলা, যার শাস্তি মৃত্যুদণ্ড। তখন আমি বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে পড়ি, ঢাকা বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে। আমরা তখন ছাত্র সমাজ এই বঙ্গবন্ধু বা শেখ মুজিবুর রহমানের স্বায়ত্ত শাসনের 6 দফার দাবি, ছাত্রদের 5 দফার দাবি, এই দুটো মিলে উই মেড এ ডিমান্ড ফর 11-point চার্টার। 11 দফার আন্দোলন আমরা শুরু করি। তার ভিতরে ছিল আইয়ুব খান ছিল একজন স্বৈর শাসক, মিলিটারি রুলার। আমরা রেজিগনেশন চেয়েছিলাম, পতন চেয়েছিলাম। তারপরে দেশের নির্বাচন দেওয়া, বঙ্গবন্ধুকে মুক্তি দেওয়া। আমাদের এই আন্দোলনের ফলে গণ অভ্যুত্থান হয়। গণ অভ্যুত্থানের ফলে আইয়ুব খান পদত্যাগ করতে বাধ্য হয়, কিন্তু সে ক্ষমতা দেয় আরেকজন জেনারেলকে, জেনারেল ইয়াহিয়া খান। ইয়াহিয়া খান জনতার চাপে, প্রেসারে নির্বাচন দিল। তো তার ধারণা ছিল যে এই পাকিস্তানের নির্বাচনে কোনো রাজনৈতিক দল সংখ্যাগরিষ্ঠ পার্লামেন্টের মেম্বার তারা অর্জন করতে পারবে না। তখন এই মিলিটারি জেনারেল ইয়াহিয়া খান তখন সে ডিভাইড অ্যান্ড রুল করে আরো 10 বছর দেশ শাসন করবে। কিন্তু সারপ্রাইজিংলি ইলেকশনের রেজাল্টে দেখা গেল শেখ মুজিবুর রহমানের দল পাকিস্তানের ন্যাশনাল অ্যাসেম্বলিতে মেজরিটি সিট দখল করছে, তো নির্বাচিত হয়েছে। আর পশ্চিম পাকিস্তানের পিপলস পার্টির নেতা জুলফিকার আলী ভুট্টো সেই মাইনরিটি গ্রুপের লিডার হয়েছে। এবং নির্বাচনের পর ইয়াহিয়া খান বলল শেখ মুজিব উইল বি দি ফিউচার প্রাইম মিনিস্টার অফ পাকিস্তান, কারণ যেহেতু সে সেন্ট্রাল পার্লামেন্টে মেজরিটি সিট পেয়েছে। কিন্তু এটা ছিল তার মুখের কথা, তারা ভিতরে ভিতরে ষড়যন্ত্র করে যে শেখ মুজিবকে ক্ষমতা দিবে না। এবং শেখ মুজিব ইলেকশনে জেতার পরে বলেছিল যে আমি 6 দফার ম্যান্ডেটে ইলেকশনে আমি জিতেছি, আমি পাকিস্তানের যে শাসনতন্ত্র কনস্টিটিউশন সেটা আমি রচনা করব বেসড অন 6 পয়েন্ট। ইন আদার ওয়ার্ডস, পূর্ব বাংলা বা পূর্ব পাকিস্তানের জন্য স্বায়ত্তশাসন নিশ্চিত করা। কিন্তু ইহা এখানে এটা মানবে না। ভুট্টোর সাথে ষড়যন্ত্র করে যে অধিবেশনে পার্লামেন্টের যে অধিবেশনে এই কনস্টিটিউশন গঠন করার কথা বেসড অন 6 দফা, সেইটাকে পসপন করে দিল। তো তখন আমাদের নেতা, তো বাই দিস টাইম শেখ মুজিবুর রহমান বিকেম বঙ্গবন্ধু ফ্রেন্ড অফ বেঙ্গল, তো উনি এটাকে দেখলেন যে এটা একটা ষড়যন্ত্র, বাঙালিদেরকে কখনোই তারা স্বায়ত্তশাসন দিবে না, কখনোই তাদের অধিকার আদায় করতে দিবে না।
So by then, what was your age, or what?
I was a university student.
Okay.
I think 20 years old.
Okay.
So I was involved in this. We call that part of the history as a liberation movement.
Correct.
And then when Sheikh Mujibur Rahman denied to get into power, সে তখন এটাকে চ্যালেঞ্জ হিসাবে নিয়ে নন কোঅপারেশন মুভমেন্ট, অসহযোগ আন্দোলন ডিক্লেয়ার করলো পাকিস্তান গভর্নমেন্টের বিরুদ্ধে।
তো আপনি ঢাকা ইউনিভার্সিটিতে ছিলেন?
আমি ঢাকা ইউনিভার্সিটি তখন অনার্সের ফাইনাল ইয়ারের স্টুডেন্ট।
আপনি কোন ডিপার্টমেন্টে ছিলেন তখন?
বায়োকেমিস্ট্রি ডিপার্টমেন্ট।
ও আচ্ছা, ওই বিল্ডিংটাই সায়েন্স ফ্যাকাল্টির ভিতরে?
কার্জন হলে
আচ্ছা,
সায়েন্স ফ্যাকাল্টি, সেখানে ফিজিক্স ডিপার্টমেন্ট, বায়োকেমিস্ট্রি, কেমিস্ট্রি ইত্যাদি। তখন দুটো ক্যাম্পাস ছিল, একটা ছিল আর্টস ফ্যাকাল্টি, আর একটা ছিল সায়েন্স ফ্যাকাল্টি কার্জন হলে।
আচ্ছা।
তো যখন শেখ মুজিব চ্যালেঞ্জ করলো যেটা হতে পারে না, ইয়াহিয়া কেম টু ঢাকা, সে তখন শেখ মুজিবের সাথে বঙ্গবন্ধুর সাথে নেগোসিয়েশনের নামে হি ওয়াজ ব্রিঙ্গিং আর্মস অ্যান্ড অ্যামিনেশন ফ্রম ওয়েস্ট পাকিস্তান, যে তারা মিলিটারি ভাবে দিয়ে এই বাংলাদেশের লোকদের কন্ট্রোল করবে। এর আগে 7th মার্চ 1971 বঙ্গবন্ধু রেস কোর্সে একটি বক্তৃতা দিল। এটা হচ্ছে হিস্টোরিক স্পিচ। তিনি সেখানে বললেন যে এবারের সংগ্রাম মুক্তির সংগ্রাম, এবারের সংগ্রাম স্বাধীনতার সংগ্রাম। এবং আরেকটা কথা বললেন যে তোমাদের কাছে যা কিছু আছে তাই নিয়ে শত্রুর মোকাবেলা করো। সো দ্যাট ওয়াজ এ ক্লিয়ার সিগন্যাল যে পাকিস্তানিরা আমাদের অ্যাটাক করবে, আমাদেরকে যুদ্ধ করতে হবে। এনিওয়ে 25th মার্চ ওনাকে অ্যারেস্ট করে পাকিস্তানি মিলিটারি। তো অ্যারেস্ট হওয়ার আগে হি ডিক্লেয়ার্ড দ্য ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্স অফ বাংলাদেশ। So that's how liberation movement started, and I joined the liberation war for 9 months. So these two history of the Bangladesh liberation movement, liberation war, these two shape my character as a freedom fighter. How to sacrifice for the nation, how to sacrifice for the society, friends. তো সেইভাবেই যুদ্ধ যখন শেষ হলো তখন আমি বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে শিক্ষক হলাম, কারণ আমার ইচ্ছা ছিল যে আমি হায়ার এডুকেশন করবো। আমার অন্য চাকরি আমি পেয়েছিলাম, কিন্তু সেখানে না গিয়ে বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে আমি জয়েন করলাম। বাই দ্যাট টাইম আই ম্যারিড মাই ক্লাসমেট, তোমাদের বকুল আন্টি। তো আমরা দুজনে তখন জাপানে গেলাম পিএইচডি করার জন্য।
আচ্ছা, কথা বলি আপনার the thing that I feel that you started a revolution in your very early childhood. age of 10 years old, that you started first
Yeah,
revolution.
yeah. 10,
And
12 years ago.
then by age of 20, you were already determined that I have to fight for my country.
Yes.
And it's lot of things going in the life,
Yeah.
and at the same time then you met, the love of your life, and in a lot of turmoil and things, তখন মানুষের এত ডিসিশন মেকিং এত কিছু থাকে না, তো আপনি কেমনে বুঝলেন যে আমাদের বকুল ভাবিটাই ইজ দ্য রাইট পারসন?
It's a good point, and there is a reason for it. সেটা হলো, she was also a student activist. I
আচ্ছা,
was a student activist, she was also a student activist. So we have something in common.
আচ্ছা,
When war started, I joined the Liberation War, and she was forced to leave the university dormitory, went to her hometown in Dinajpur. When Pakistani attacked the town of Dinajpur, her family was forced to leave for India and became refugee. And so she stayed in the refugee camp for 9 months. Then, end of the war, when I came as a victorious freedom fighter, she also came back to the university. So we felt very close, that we have something in common. We were 32 students in our class, only 32. Only 4 students took part into in Liberation War. She and me and 2 others. So the 28 person, 28 students, they did not take part. They did not participate in the Liberation War. So we 4 feel little bit closer. 3 of my 3 of my boyfriend, boy classmates, and 1 is lady classmate. So I feel closer to her, and it's kind of reciprocal. And we found that we really like each other, and we are the best partner to each other to lead our rest of the life. So that's how we got married, and then we went to Japan to do PhD. আমরা দুজন একসাথে PhD করে 5 বছর পরে, by that time there was little bit twist. I was a part of the Liberation War group. Our group leader, after the uh, death or killing of Bangabandhu, president of the country, my leader during the war, he went to India, and he started fighting against the military government. And then my parents told me that you should not come back to the country, because a military regime, they are harassing me, and claiming that I am with my previous commander fighting against the government from India, which is false, because I went to Japan with a government scholarship. My father told the police and other investigating officer, look, my son is a university professor. He is in Japan doing his PhD along with his wife on a government scholarship. How come he is in India and fight against military government? So that was nothing but harassment. Then my parents, my father told me that don't come back. You try to stay more time in Japan. But in Japan, when your student is over, you cannot stay. You have to leave Japan. So then we came to America as a visiting scientist to study postdoctoral research at NYU, New York University. আমরা দুজনেই postdoc করতে আসলাম, and that's how we came to India. And after 4 years doing postdoctoral study, then we decided to stay in the country, because still there was problem in the country. It's kind of political problem. The freedom fighters and those the supporter of Awami League, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, they were harassed, and the anti-liberation forces came into power under the leadership of the generals. So then we decided to stay in the country. So that was in 1984.
আচ্ছা,
So then the rest of the activities you are familiar with, though you were very young that time. So since then I live in during postdoctoral study, I live in New York. And when I joined Colgate, when I decided that I would stay in this country, then I need a job. Then I found an offer from Colgate Palmolive Company in New Jersey, in Piscataway. Then I moved to New Jersey. New Jersey. Since then, I'm here.
Okay. So it's actually such a beautiful time
Journey.
story, and আপনার আসলে আপনার জীবন সঙ্গিনীটা has a huge impact in
Of
this.
course, of course.
Yes.
And as of today, the things I have done, where I am today, I could not have done it without her support, unconditional support.
Yeah. And actually, Dr. Noornabi, because we know each other personally, and I have utmost respect in my heart for you because the things that you do. But at the same time, when the match is compatible on many different level, that your life goes smoother. So I just have one question. আপনি বলছেন যে আপনার ক্লাসে 30 students ছিল, যেটার ভিতরে just 4 জন ছিলেন যারা was active. So I know one was your wife. The other two, are you still in touch with them?
Other two, one is I'm I'm in touch with him. One is still in the politics, and he did not get married. He has no family. He's still an activist. He's about 70 years old.
He's a pure activist. You don't want any distraction.
And the other one is he went to police service. He
Okay.
became chief of the police, inspector general of police. He retired. We know each other activities, but personally we are not in touch, But out of 32 students, 8 were girl student and rest were boys student. And the girl students, we know where they are, but we are not in touch. One lady, she lives in Toronto, Canada, or Ottawa, Canada. Another lady, she lives in England, and another lady, she was a teacher of agriculture university in Mymensingh. She retired, and another lady still in Bangladesh.
Okay. So very interesting. So we're going to take some questions from our viewers. We have Shawan Raj. He's saying hi. We have Amir Hamza, and Amir Hamza have a question. Dr. Nabi, how do you feel about the current political situation of Bangladesh, since you have done so much for freedom of Bangladesh?
It's a kind of mixed feelings. First of all, that after the killing of Bangabandhu, the Bangladeshi Rajniti was going towards pro-Pakistan. So that was not acceptable to me and a lot of the people in Bangladesh. And then military ruler came. They were not pro-people. They were anti-people, you can say. And first of all, to me as a freedom fighter, we have 4 principles of the liberation war. One is democracy. When there was a military ruler, there was no democracy. Another is who is very close to my heart is আমরা বলি ধর্ম নিরপেক্ষতা. In other words, অসাম্প্রদায়িক সমাজ ব্যবস্থা, non-communal society. So when there was a conflict between Hindu, Muslim, Buddha, Christian, that is not the principle we fought for Bangladesh. So there are a couple of change in principle, and especially it was very close to my heart is the history of the liberation war. Those governments try to not only distort the history of liberation war, they try to erase the history of the liberation war. And that was the point when I started writing. আমি বলি যে আমি দায়বদ্ধতা থেকে, দায়বদ্ধতা means responsibility, guilty, both থেকে I started writing thinking that I was a part as an activist in liberation movement, and I was a liberation war freedom fighter. So the activities I have done is a part of history. Right. So if I write my experience, it will be a part of history. That's why I started writing. Now I have written about 14 books, and as a recognition, the contribution of liberation war literature, I have been awarded this Ekushe Padak. Anyway, so to answer his question, the questioner, thanks for asking that question. Bangladesh, there was an interruption due to after the killing of Bangabandhu and due to the military ruler. Then the Awami League came to power, and they are making progress under the various different situation, different circumstances.
Mhm.
So I have confidence that the daughter of the founding father, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, Bangabandhu Mujibur Rahman, Sheikh Hasina is doing best. She is making infrastructure, economic development, and she only remember there were more than 20 attempts on her life to
Hmm.
kill her. There was a conspiracy more than 20 times. So she has to fight this threat as well as she has to conduct, she has to control the country leading forwards on economic development. Because main purpose of the liberation war was the economic development of the people. মানুষের অর্থনৈতিক অবস্থার উন্নতি. She is trying to do that. Now there is electricity every village, and this heavy infrastructure development is going on. Like a Jamuna bridge was completed. Now the Padma bridge was going to complete maybe by next year, and then in the Dhaka city, lot of bypass, and then soon in Dhaka this subway, not subway, elevated highway is being built. It will start soon. I visited last time. The first, there are 4 or 5 lines. The first line is from Uttara to central Dhaka. It's almost completed.
Okay.
So there are economic development is going on, but still it's 18 কোটি মানুষ।
Hmm.
চিন্তা করেন যে আমেরিকার অর্ধেক লোক যদি উইসকনসিনের মতো একটা স্টেটে থাকে, তো কি অবস্থা হবে? তো বাংলাদেশের পপুলেশন ডেন্সিটি সিমিলার। It's a lot of poverty, lot of poor people, but things are going in the right direction. That's my assessment.
না, আপনি এই কথাটা একেবারে ঠিক বলেছেন যে বাংলাদেশে এত মানুষ, ওইটার ভিতরে আমাদের গভর্নমেন্ট কাজও করতেছে আর কাজও চলতেছে, আর তারপরে আমাদের লোডশেডিং ও আছে। জীবনটা ওখানে একেবারে অন্য ধরনের।
Amber, একটু কারেকশন করি। This is very important point, the load shedding.
জি।
Before the present government, Sheikh Hasina, before came to power, the electricity production was 3,000 megawatt. Now it's 25 megawatt. So there was no load shedding. There are some because of technical problem, but production of electricity had increased how many times? 3 to 24, almost 10 times. So this is a great achievement of the current government, that there was no shortage of electrical power, but there are sometimes load shedding because of, say, technical problem, in the line. Something may happen, that's why. But it's a great achievement, and that's what they say, that every village has electricity in Bangladesh.
Yeah, indeed, you're right. Actually, it's such a coincidence. Last time আপনি যখন বাংলাদেশে ছিলেন, we were in the same time, we were in the flight together. So I myself have not seen much failures of electricity, and আসলে খুবই ভালো লাগে যে যতবারই আমরা যাই, we see so much development.
Yeah, exactly.
So the next question is Amir Hamza is asking is actually, if you can bring the next question on the screen. That was also by Mr. Amir Hamza. Dr. Noor Nabi, you have been elected. Can you please bring this? Yes. Dr. Nabi, you have been referred as the brain behind the Tsanglai's freedom fighter forces. What was it like being a fighter at such a young age?
It's a great question personally to me. I was only 23 years old. So the responsibility I have carried out and accomplished, আমার মাঝে মাঝে মনে হতো যে I was chosen by somebody up there.
Yes.
কারণ এত অল্প বয়সে এত দায়িত্বশীল আমার পাওয়ার কথা না।
Hmm.
আমি সংক্ষেপে বলি what was my role in liberation war.
Mhm.
The Dhaka শহর, the occupation or liberation of Dhaka city
Mhm.
was done almost without bloodshed. কারণ পাকিস্তানিদের ধারণা ছিল যে ইন্ডিয়ান আর্মি তারা ইস্টার্ন সেক্টর কুমিল্লা হয়ে ঢাকা পৌঁছবে, কারণ দ্যাট ওয়াজ এ শর্ট এ ডিস্টেন্স। কিন্তু ইন্ডিয়ান আর্মি অ্যান্ড মুক্তিযোদ্ধাদের প্ল্যান ছিল যে দে উইল মিসলিড দ্য পাকিস্তানি ফোর্সেস, that they will, the Indian and Army and Mukti Bahini joint force is coming from through eastern section towards Dhaka through Kumilla. But it was a bluff. The
Mhm.
plan was that in Tangail we have liberated whole district, and this highway was almost free and open. Pakistani could not move at daytime because we used to ambush them. So when I visited India third time, I met Lieutenant General Aurora, who was GOC of Eastern Command, and he told me that we will drop one battalion paratroops in Tangal in November. And this is a preview to you that you are the first person in Bangladesh. You know this. I disclose to you. Nobody else. So you go back to Tangal, tell your commander. Only you and your commander will know. Then on November, you will select an area where our paratroops will be dropped, and your responsibility will be to protect Indian paratroops. So ডিসেম্বরের 11 তারিখে মাত্র এক ব্যাটালিয়ন মানে 450 ইন্ডিয়ান সোলজার নামলো টাঙ্গাইলে, হুইচ ইজ অ্যাবাউট 100 miles north of ঢাকা। কিন্তু ইন্ডিয়ান আর্মির সেকেন্ড ইন কমান্ড সে কলকাতায় প্রেস কনফারেন্স করে বললো যে আমরা এক ডিভিশন সৈন্য ঢাকার চারদিকে নামিয়ে দিয়েছি, মানে হাজার হাজার সৈন্য। দ্যাট ওয়াজ এ ব্লাফ, and Pakistan has no power to verify this bluff. So since they were fighting in the eastern sector, this one battalion paratroops and then two brigades joined, and Tangail Mukti Bahini forces all together, they went to Mirpur and sent a famous message to Pakistani Commander-in-Chief General Niazi that we are here, you send your representative, you surrender to us, we will protect you according to Geneva Convention. So that's how Dhaka was liberated without bloodshed, and I am and my forces and Tangail Mukti Bahini was a part of this strategy. So this is a big thing, and I think it was possible because I think that I was chosen by somebody up there.
Absolutely, it has to be because
I want to share one funny point.
currently.
Third time when I went to India is Tura, and the state of Meghalaya, northern Indian state. It's one of the major cities. Tura. Tura was the headquarters of Major General Gill. So when I met Aurora and then Major General Gill, Brigadier San Singh, these three were Sikh officers. So I am 5 foot 2 inches, and those three officers, Sikh, with their turban, they look like 7 feet tall. So when I was talking to them, I have to make eye contact. I have to look at the sky. So just imagine that three Sikh officer with their this Indian Army dress, turban headed, and I am 5 foot 2 inches, 90 pound weight, and I was wearing lungi and a shirt given by refugee camp. So it's interesting, but still, it's vivid in my memory that when I try to make eye contact, I have to look at the sky.
Yeah, it's amazing. The way the history is, and especially talking to a freedom fighter right there, which as you were expressing your your life history in front of you, which made you what you are today. And I think once a person is freedom fighter, and you're absolutely right, এটা উপরে থেকে আল্লাহর তরফে থেকে আসতেছে, because the তখনকার দিনে the war is going, as you saying, it was a bluff, which was
Yeah.
a setup. You just have a Allah trust kore you are doing what you're doing, because there is no text messages or no telex coming
No.
in there's a change of plan. You just going চোখ বন্ধ করে আপনি করতেছেন
I went to India 3 times. It was very difficult task, and many of my freedom fighting fighter colleagues, they were killed. I survived, and it must be I was protected by the grace of Almighty. Otherwise, I lost many of my friends, many of my co-fighters.
Definitely. The next question is from Farah Hussein. What is your inspiration writing books on literature, being a scientist?
As I mentioned a little bit brief earlier in brief, that I was a scientist. That's my career. And after the killing of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in 1975, the history of Bangladesh Liberation War was not only changed but tried to wiped out. And even they did not recognize Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman as the father of the nation, who led us to the independence, who spent 13 years of his youth life in a jail, away from the family. So, and he faced death sentence twice. And this anti-government liberation forces, they did not even recognize it. People cannot utter his name in public places like television, radio. So then I thought that I must write my experience. As I mentioned before, that I was a activist in Liberation War, as a freedom fighter, and we made the history. Our experience is a part of history. So I started writing my experience, which became part of history. And Bangla Academy rewarded me as a honorary fellow for writing or making outstanding contribution on Bangladesh Liberation War. And then this year I was awarded Ekushe Padak, second highest award, for writing and contributing the literary history or history of Bangladesh Liberation War literature. So that was my motive, that to protect the history, to let the young generation know how much sacrifice Bangladeshi people made to achieve this achievement, independence. I want to also talk about the election. So if we have enough time.
I know. Yes, we do. It's only 32 minutes.
Oh, okay.
People really wants to know more about you.
Yeah, I was not looking at my watch.
Okay, we'll just take one or two more questions about you, because it's actually framing to our audience who are joining that the amazing work that you have done behind for your country and everything. Amir Hamza is saying the principles that you based your freedom fight are the essence of true freedom and hope of courage. Thank you so much for your contribution and love for your country. Another question is, Dr. Nabi, you are chosen because you deserved it. I believe God has given you the courage and the beauty. So there's another comment which is in Bangla. If you guys can bring it on the screen.
Yeah, I can hear.
Yes. This is from Muhammad Islam. Can you please bring down the screen back? So thank you.
This question is about the election, American election.
Okay.
So when we start on that part, I can answer his question.
Okay.
Do you want me to answer now or later?
Yes, we can actually start the election question. So my first question to you, which is my personal question, is why is this election of 2020 is most essential for us, specifically South Asian community?
This is very important question. This country was built on by the labor of the immigration. And both Republican and Democratic government, they work hard, they change the rules to make this country good for the immigrant, good for the American. But what happened the last 240 years, there was no such president like current president. He is anti-American, anti-Muslim, anti-Hispanic. His theme, his slogan, that America great again, which means nothing but racism. This slogan is nothing but America is for only for white America. So that's why the Southeast Asian, we are all immigrants, not only Southeast Asian, all other immigrants. And also not only the immigrants, the non-white, black, brown, and immigrants, Mexicans. President Donald Trump, when he made a campaign in 1916, then we only knew his words. But last 4 years, we know his actions.
Mm-hmm.
His actions and policy are against the immigrant, against black, against brown, against Hispanic. And currently, this the Black Lives Matters movement and all other movements is must be answered, must be solve these problems. And President Reagan, he doesn't even recognize that there is a systemic racism in this country, which is true. There is systemic racism. Otherwise, all those black people would not have killed without any provocation, without any reason.
Absolutely.
So if the current president, if he is re-elected, then life of the immigrants, including Southeast Asian, will be held, will be considered as a second-class citizen of the country, and our children, they will be third-class citizen of the country. And the significance, why this election is consequential, why it's so important to us, because if he is re-elected, the values, the practice, and this harmony in the community, people say that this is a country of mosaic, different, that will be destroyed, and American institution will be destroyed. So just for his another term, this country will be pushed back 40 years. In other words, it will take 40 years to fix the damage he will do in next 4 years. So that's why for us, for immigrants, for us, our duty to protect our interests, protect our interests and our children's future, we have to vote him out. We have to vote for Biden, who has a 50 years of career and who is reliable. He doesn't speak lies. And Donald Trump so far spoken more than 1,000 lies. In other words, almost 10, 15 lies per day. And next 45 days, it will be maybe 30 lies per day. So every day he's making a news just to distract his failure to run this country. So if you allow me to expand on this point, I can add that the responsibility of president when they take oath to protect the people, to protect the interest of the country. What he did with this coronavirus pandemic, in January, his security officers, other officers, they informed him that virus is coming. It's a deadly virus. Not only there will be threat to the lives of the people, health of the people, but even to the economy. He just ignored. On first week of January, North Korea, South Korea, and India, and in USA, same day, first virus patient was detected. And South Korea, they took measures, and as of today, their death maybe 200, not more than 200. In America, last 7 months, today, as of today, 200,000 people were killed, 6 million plus people were infected, economy is destroyed, millions of people are unemployed, and people are starving.
Yeah, but that's a fake news to him.
So he is responsible for that. If you see, this virus there is no vaccine, no treatment. Only way to protect us from spreading the virus, for attack virus, is mask. Use mask, social distancing, and wash your hand. These are the three things, and stay home as much as you can.
Mhm.
So what he did, you know, when it was announced, he said, "Oh, this is just like flu; it will go away."
Mhm.
When there were more coronavirus patients, they said, "Oh, it's a hoax." And even in one rally, election rally, he said it's a democratic joke.
Yeah.
And this sort of things, he was telling that no mask is not necessary, and he suggested that hydroxychloroquine is the treatment. Then he said we have to inject a detergent in our body.
Yeah.
So this misleading comments from the president of the country, who is supposed to lead us and make us awareness threat of this virus, he just minimizes it, downplays. Is as a result, when he did not take any action in January, in February, in March, by this time, virus spread it all over the country, including Northeast through JFK airport. And we saw the consequence that as of today, 200,000 people. And even yesterday, I don't know about the today, he's making rally in a room or in a small places, and he doesn't use mask, and his supporter, they don't use mask. That is the only way to protect us. And CDC chief, under oath, he said that as still mask is the best protection, and he showed his mask and said, he's the chief scientist. He said, I feel more protected if I use mask than the vaccine is coming. And next day he contradicted the scientist that he did not mean it. But then, since he did under oath, he has to issue a statement
Mhm.
that what he did say. So during the election, three things, especially this year's election: public health,
Mhm.
and then economy, and then these Black Lives Matter. These things are going on in the country. And his interview with Bob Woodward, his recorded voice, he said, I am deliberately, intentionally downplaying the risk of the virus. And Biden and other people says today, this negligence is a criminal offense.
Correct.
Knowing that it's a serious virus, it will be have serious effect on the country, he downplayed it, and he's doing that as of today. So
Yeah.
this is a criminal offense.
Mhm.
And also other day he said this fighting force military who is protecting us and the free world, he said, those fallen soldiers, they are losers and suckers. So this is also a disgrace to the soldiers, fallen soldiers, and all the military ex-leaders. They said he is not fit for to
And
be the the commander in chief.
yeah.
So he failed as a president, not to protecting the people, 200,000 people. And also projection is scary projection that if his supporter and other people, if they don't follow or use the mask, if they continued like this, then by January 1st, more than 400,000 people will die. Nowadays, last almost a month, 1,000 people is dying every day.
Yeah.
And in 9/11, we just observed few days before, 3,000 people were killed. And now every 3 days, 3,000 people were killed. And this forecast is the model forecast that in December, 3,000 people will die per day. And by January 1st, total death would be more than 400,000, which is scary. So how come this person who is responsible for all this trouble for the country, for the people, for the economy. How come we can vote for him and keep him another 4 years? So that's why Southeast Asian, I know among Southeast Asian there are supporters. So my appeal to them, my begging to them that please, for your own protection, for the protection of your children and grandchildren, don't mislead, don't vote for him, don't support him. You know why some people are voting for him?
Mm-hmm.
Some people think that he's anti-Muslim, that's why we have to vote him. But they don't remember that if he's elected, even he doesn't change the rules or policy, but his supporter, they will thank this country is for white Americans and all the trouble they have because of these immigrants. And they will, when they will hit non-white, they will not compare who is Indian, who is Bangladeshi, who is Pakistani, who is Arabs. All these non-whites, black, brown, will look same to them.
Exactly.
So they will keep on the postave. They will regret that we voted Donald Trump when they themselves will be victim because they are just not white. So this is my appeal to all the Southeast Asian people, including other immigrants, that you have to protect your own interest and look at what happened to you. And he is boasting that the stock market is going up. How many people own stock in this country? Five to 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of us, we don't. Among Bangladeshi Americans, among Southeast Asian, how many people own this stock? A few. But we are suffering. And say recent this, he boasted that he did tax cut. Tax cut whom for whom? The only rich people, 2% of the people, they got the benefit, 90% of the tax benefit. You and me, you and I, we don't get any benefit of the tax. So we have to be considered our own interest, not led by emotion. Some people also, it's so pity, I feel pity for them. They think that Republican elite class and Democrat are folks or ordinary folks.
Yeah, they're working in their middle class.
Yeah, but they will realize that how many money you make, you are still not white.
Correct. It's not going to change the color of your skin.
Exactly.
We're getting a lot of questions here, and I know we're coming closer to the end time. You see how time flew, but I do want to bring back to the importance of census, the census 2020. What do you think is the connection of filling out the census and this election together?
This is very important question. Everybody must, whether immigrant, non-immigrant, must fill out the form. If you are non-immigrant, there will be no punishment, no harm. But what will happen, based on the census, these electoral districts determine, then funds come to the area, this school budget, all these things. So census is very, very important. I really feel bad about Bangladeshi community. Last census, it was close to 500,000, but I guess it's more than that, because some people, those who are immigrants or citizens, they feel that it is not important, which is wrong. And those who are illegal or not yet official immigrants, they feel that they think that they are afraid that they will be harmed if they participate. That's not true. It is simply determined based on the census. Budget is allocated, school and other areas, and also health issues, and then also the electoral college, this electoral district, congressmen, senators. Senator is on a state-wise just two, but congressional district is determined by this number of the American citizens. So this is very important, very important. And also to register for vote. Unless you register, still there is time, you can vote. So you have to, the problem I mentioned about Donald Trump and also our own interest, only option or only weapon we have is vote.
Yes,
We can only vote it out Donald Trump through casting vote, but to vote, to have the right for the vote, you have to register, whether you are Democrat or Republican. And I would like to add just another point that, as I mentioned earlier, that this country was ruled by both the Republican and Democrat, but never ever situation was like that. So this election, I believe, it is not between Democrat and Republican. This election is against Donald Trump versus rest of the nation. Rest of the nation, because Donald Trump is not following the Republican principle. Is a four Republican governors openly said they will vote Biden, they will not support Donald Trump, and a lot of Democratic leaders, and there is also a group that Roosevelt, not Roosevelt, Lincoln Project. They are advertising in the TV against Donald Trump. They are Republican. So even Republicans, traditional Republican or established Republican, they are not supporting. So this election is not between Democrat and Republican. It's between Donald Trump against whole America, because whatever he is doing, whatever he did and he talks is himself, not for the Republican Party, for not even for his supporter. They have diehard supporter. If they ask themselves what did they gain by supporting Donald Trump, nothing. Donald Trump did nothing for his diehard supporters. So whatever he does, he says, he plans to protect himself, and always he thinks যে কোনো কাজে তার জন্য কি আছে। as for example, যখন যে প্যান্ডামিক আমাদের এরিয়াতে ছিল, he started fighting with the governors. And he said, I'm helping New York governors, but he does not praise me. The president is responsibility to protect whole nation. Yesterday he said, he was showing, he was talking about the pandemic, COVID pandemic. There was a chart. He said, if we take out the blue state, the death would be much lower. What is stupid logic? Those blue states, those Democrats, they are not citizen of the country. He's not our president.
So that's what his logic is, that, stop testing. If you stop,
that's another stupid logic that,
that why are we testing? If we don't test, there is no number. So this is the
so
truth.
He has no empathy.
Correct.
He doesn't care about the people. And this 200,000 death is just simply a number to him.
It's a number to him, although
number to him. Though they say this is a person, there is a family of these dead people, and he doesn't care about them. And also he said, oh, death rate is low. But he doesn't know those who are affected by coronavirus, their life is shattered. There is a lot of side effects. Still, they will suffer. They are suffering.
Yeah. Well, one more question. We're having a lot of questions, but I want to bring up this one, that why we don't see any Bangladeshi representative in the U.S. politics as elected. What is your recommendation? And that is,
I think this is a good question. As of today, there are only one state assemblyman from Mr. Rahman from Georgia, and there is one young lady. She won the primary in Texas. She will run for Congress. And Dr. Nina Ahmed, who ran for Democratic Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania last year, he lost, but he's received second highest vote. But this year, she is running as an Attorney General. It's a statewide position. He on primary, big difference, a lot of vote by a lot of votes. So we have to support these candidates. And in last election primary, a lot of Bengali people ran in the primary, and this is a good start. Not necessarily everybody will be successful. In Patterson, there were Congress, there were a councilman, and also one young lady in Patterson in some small town. She was elected. So these are the good sign. So what you have to do makes to make success in mainstream politics, you have to work very hard. There is no that like in Bangladesh, if you know someone in BNP and Awami League, you can go up at the level. No, you have to work hard. And how to get involved is that you participate in the party activities, you contribute to their fund. Even you contribute $10,
Mm-hmm.
it will be registered. They will know that you are a donor.
Mm-hmm.
So we all of us we should start getting in mainstream politics at different levels. Not necessarily everybody, all of us should be congressman,
Right.
senator just one day. But you have to start from, say, school district. You become a member of parents or parents organization,
Mm-hmm.
and then maybe school board,
Mm-hmm.
then councilman, then someone will be elected in state assembly. So that's how we have to proceed, and we have to get involved because doing Bangladeshi politics from here, you cannot help yourself. You cannot even help the party or the country you wanted to help because you have to gain strength and you have to get involved. If you participate, they will know you, and if you say something, ask for any favor, they will listen to you.
Yeah.
But if you don't, we are nobody, you know. So
Yeah.
I'm optimistic that people are young men, young people, young women. They are started thinking and they are started participating in the mainstream politics.
Absolutely. And we are living here, so we have to get involved.
Yeah,
Dikhana practicing. Instead of and being involved in back home. There is nothing wrong with that, but let's make an impact where we are because our kids' futures is linked with that. There's so many more questions coming. I'm just gonna sum up with the last one that your main reason of supporting Biden and Harris ticket is, what do you think? And I know that this brings a platform of Biden being linked with Kamala Harris.
to answer in brief, in short, he is pro-immigrant.
Mhm.
He will protect the interest of the poor people, common people, and especially the immigrant community. And he will uh, protect the. His slogan is that the heart of the America or values of the Americas,
Mhm.
which is what has been our history in the last 240 years. And Donald Trump is destroying everything. When if he re-elected and when retired, this is will be a different country. And now in the world, we were economic power and military power in the world. People would respect us. People would follow us. But the last 4 years during his the administration, we have no respect in the world.
Yeah.
Our country economy is destroyed, and 200,000 people were killed because of his negligence. It's a criminal act.
Mhm.
So we must vote him out, and we must elect Biden and Kamala Harris to protect our own interest, to protect our future of our children, grandchildren, and also to the main reason we came to this country, all the immigrants, for a better life, economic and democratic freedom. So you will have no economic freedom, you will have no democratic freedom, you will have no equal rights. You will be second class citizen. Take it from me. I bet if if he re-elected, we will lose our benefits in terms of freedom, in terms of economic freedom, and also this protection. These people are nowadays afraid of going to those white area, and also this country is famous for rule of law.
Mhm.
Even Nixon has to resign when he violated. And this gentleman, this president, violating law every day,
Every
and
single
encouraging other people to break the law. Uh, just say this his white supremacist. They are carrying guns, which is used by military, and those gun carrying people they make demonstration at the residence of the governor of Michigan, and those are not crime. And other day, one of his supporter, with a teenage supporter, with a big gun, he killed two people, injured one, and he was walking by the police, and nobody asked him any question, and they gave him water, and they helped him to go to home, take shower, then came back to surrender. And President Donald Trump is praising him that who killed two people, and he has no business to be there with gun, and not a pistol or shotgun. It's a machine gun. So this president, he's breaking his own law. His health scientist, health advisor saying that mask is essential. He is just ignoring, and he said those scientists, they don't know what. And this in this country, this climate change, because of this
correct.
fire and a flood, he said it's a hoax. He doesn't believe that there is
Fake,
a climate change.
it's fake news.
Yeah, fake news.
So
Maybe we can have another session, just question and answer.
yes,
There's
definitely.
a lot of questions are unanswered.
I know we almost have ended the time of our program, and just to make it some very quickly, the difference between Democratic Party and Republican, we can see very clearly when they both came on the screen how Biden and Harris, they're doing it on the screen, keeping the lives and their importance, and wearing masks. And here, Donald Trump had a big rally, nobody in the mask. So it actually shows, as a commander in chief, you really don't care as much. So, and there's so many more reasons, as you have explained. So, just to sum everything, one last, a message that you want to give to our viewers, Navi bhai.
Please register yourself and vote. You exercise your rights to vote and vote it out Donald Trump and elect Joe Biden for your own interest and for the interest of the country. And I would add it interest of the world, for peace of the world.
Mhm.
So this is my last appeal, and you also have summarized nice way. So please vote, use your right to protect your right.
Okay. Thank you, Novi Bhai. I am really very obliged that you came and, on such a short notice. And I
Thank
really enjoyed having you. And inshallah, we're going to have you one more time again, because there's so many questions and I couldn't get through all of them. And, very, very thankful for your time. And this concludes our program for tonight. And the final messages that I want to leave all our viewers who are seeing us right now, that this election is actually about, as Nobi Bhai said, it's not about Republicans and Democrats. It's about Donald Trump and self-existence, and especially as we are immigrant, our rights has already been on hold. He has put on hold people who are applying for immigration and things. DACA is another example. There's so many examples. As a commander in chief, he has failed, and this was something, coronavirus was something that we could not ignore, and he has failed. He has put that as a, instead of being a leader, he said it's between each governor. There are so many more examples. Please use your right of vote that you have. That is the only way we can do. And census are extremely important. It does show where our funding is going, and census is not completely just for younger kids. Our older seniors are
everybody.
impacted with that too, because Medicare, everything is linked. Our existence is linked with that. So please, ladies and gentlemen, use your right. It has came in a very tight way. Was people have fought their life to get that right to vote. So thank you so much, Novi Bhai,
Thank
and
you.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum. Maybe we'll meet another time.
Inshallah, we
You
will.
want to answer those questions.
Okay. Thank you
Thank,
so much.
thank you.